What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Progress on Purpose podcast. We are a community of people who seek to be intentional about how we think and behave towards an intended goal. We believe that what we say, think, and do governs our ability to make progress towards our goal and ultimately lead to success. In simple terms, it's the action of being intentional and making progress on purpose. If you're new to the Pop family, welcome. We certainly don't think that you are here by chance, but I believe that there is value in listening to this show. After this episode, please leave an honest review and rate the show. And if you're a dedicated listener, welcome back for another purpose-filled episode. I'm excited because today I have an amazing woman who is going to share so much value, so much wisdom in everything that she has to bring to the table. I want to let you know that we are in season 4 of the show called She's Intentional. And so I've gathered 10 to 12 different women to have these woman-to-woman conversations and get very, very deep and detailed into how we can be more intentional with our lives. And today, Dr. Shavona Whitehead is no exception. She's the owner of She's More Now, a life and empowerment coach. She is committed to teaching women struggling with identity how to escape the box so they uncover their authentic selves. Dr. Whitehead's goal is to teach and help women to turn their ashes to beauty, increasing self-esteem, thus cultivating spiritual growth and power, therefore becoming great women of wisdom, power, and integrity. Dr. Whitehead demonstrates this commitment through her weekly lunchtime empowerment talks with Dr. Vaughn and her monthly coaching sessions. The passion that flows creates an atmosphere for transformation and healing that births forth confidence to be all that you were created to be by breaking the box that life and its circumstance placed you in. Walking in her freedom, Dr. Whitehead is an ordained preacher, entrepreneur, motivational speaker, teacher, wife, and mom. Without further ado, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce you to Dr. Shavona Whitehead, or as she is affectionately known, Dr. Vaughn. Dr. Vaughn, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be here. Hey, Pop family.
Yes.
Yes.
I am so happy to have you. Thank
Yeah.
you. I am so happy to have you on the show. Right before we started recording, we were just talking about life because life comes at you fast, and it really, if we're not careful to put certain things in place, we can find ourselves in a whole nother place. And I really want to start here because in reading your bio, you talk a lot about how women, we have this box that we tuck our authentic selves in. So I want to know, in your opinion, why do we as women have this box that we tuck our authentic selves in? What are we hiding? And even what else is in there? So if you could share more there.
Sure thing. So a part of my approach and a part of my reaching is I lived in a box for many years. And the box is not only a place that we tuck away, but it's a place that we call safety. Most of the time because of life hurts, life circumstances, insecurities, low self-esteem, things that people have spoken over us, we all over the course of time develop a way to stay in this box that has this ceiling that we can't get past because we either have the fear of the unknown, we don't know what's beyond the box, and so we're comfortable in this space and it's safe in this space. So the box, nobody's in the box but me. And so I actually teach a lot of people that I come in contact with. The box actually in our mind becomes our safety, but it actually is actually detrimental to our growth and our stretching. We can't stretch and we can't grow while we're in the box. And most of us don't show up for our authentic selves because we are in this box. We have to be everything for everybody.
Yes.
And most of the time, it actually does not allow us to be us because we get lost in there because we got so many tasks and so many expectations that we get lost. So that's why we're in this box. And the last time we tapped into our authentic selves, we were probably teenagers. when
Wow.
we were vibrant and life hadn't happened yet. So we were already there. But now life doesn't happen and you find out and you're asking your question, who am I?
And I think that is a question that, if not many people, if not all of us, many women have asked that question. Like, wait, who am I? I know for myself, I grew up kind of alone. A I had two siblings, but I grew up so much. I was so much younger than them that by the time I came into myself, my teenage years, they were out of the house. So I kind of grew up by myself. Fast forward, getting to a relationship, get married, become a bonus mom. Life came, it came at me quickly, okay? And because of that, I found myself like, wait, who am I again? Who am I in this space? And what happened to the Michelle? What happened to the Michelle who had these dreams, these goals, these desires? And how do I get her back? How do I get her back? You talked about how that box is a safe space. And I totally understand that, because you don't realize when you're I guess you think you're growing, you don't realize that you haven't really gone anywhere, because you're still kind of like confined, right?
Yeah.
So what was your experience like? Because I know you said you had one as well.
And so the dynamic of, I was raised by my grandparents. And so I have a similar story as, so I was their last child they raised, but I was their first grandchild. So I grew up by myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up in a house with my grandparents. It was just me and them. And so my sister, who my mom had, we are 11 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
She's 11 years younger than I am. So she didn't come by for a long time. So it was just me. And so that dynamic and that space, I understand that whole alone. And then fast forward, I understand how you fast forward. I'm a preacher's kid.
Yeah.
And so here's the dynamic of the level of the expectation of a preacher's kid. So the level of expectation of a preacher's kid is you have to be perfect all the time. There's certain things that you can't do. And so my box was living in the expectation of what they thought a preacher's kid was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so I walked around being what I thought they wanted me to be, looking the part, acting the part, being the part that they said. And it wasn't until I actually was in my 30s that I had been doing this for so long, living in this box, doing, masking it, that I had to ask myself the question, who are you?
Mm.
I know who you are when you show up at church. I know who you are when you're around the proper people. But really, honestly, Shavona, who are you? Where's that, all of, like you said, all of those dreams and visions that you had, what have you done with them? And what I had to come to grips with was, it was comfortable being who people dictated me to be. It was uncomfortable to step out of their expectations and be me.
Right.
Because once I had to step out of their expectations, now I'm on a platform like out here by myself. Like I'm out here really actually just being me. And now I got to go against the grain of what they said I should be. So it gives you that tug of war. And here's the conundrum to it is, sometimes you have to ask yourself, who am I, more than one time in your life?
Right.
It's not a one-time thing, because even when you tap into your authentic self, life still has a way sometimes to help you miss the mark again. And you got to ask yourself again. You got to come back to that same place, because so many things come at you, so many levels, so many expectations. No, I got to be a mom here. Now I got to be a businesswoman here. Then I got to be my work person here when I'm at my secular job. Then I got to be the ministry woman when I'm here. Then I got to be here. And all of those things, here's the misconception that we as women have done. We believe that we have to stop being one to be the other.
I was just about to ask.
You do not have, and this is what I have to learn. This is why I'm able to navigate through the various aspects of me, because I'm not one dimensional. The various aspects of me, the way that I'm able to successfully navigate through it is, I had to come to the realization that I don't have to negate one to be the other. So I don't have to stop being the preacher to be the wife. I don't have to stop being the wife to be the mom. And then I don't have to stop being the mom to be the businesswoman. I have to, all of those things are a part of me and how I navigate. And once you tap into and realize that you don't have to throw one away to get the other or put one away, that's when you really tap into your authentic self, because you realize that yourself is not one-dimensional.
Yes. I'm thinking of the Proverbs 31 woman and how she's the model for, or to me, she's the model for not being in the box or finding a way to marry all of these different people, personalities, expectations that you get from your family members, from the people that you're around, and still having to, if you're married, still having to live up to the expectation of a wife. She, to me, is the perfect example of that, because she almost seamlessly, if not seamlessly, was everything for everyone and was praised because of that. And I know that growing up in church, we hear that story, we read it in the word, but then the way that, I know from my experience, the way that we are taught to become that woman has more rules and regulations as opposed to life skills that you're talking to. So I think that just for that purpose alone, I know that your platform has so much value, because you're able to help women who are trying to navigate all of that and not fall apart in the process, not fall away from who she is in the process. So yes, that is amazing. Thank you.
And it's funny that you said Proverbs 31, because here's the dynamic in church. We preach that, and we teach that scripture one-dimensional, because we preach it from the place of her children and her spouse, her family. But here's the thing: if you go and search the Proverbs 31 woman, she was a businesswoman.
Yes.
But we don't teach the aspect that she actually was multidimensional. We celebrated her children shall call her blessed, her family shall call. We teach that, and so we want to, as women, we're going to be this Proverbs 31 woman. So we're going to make sure our family is good. We're going to make sure our spouse is good. But guess what? The Proverbs 31 woman also was a businesswoman.
Yes.
So a lot of women think that they can't be business women and have successful families and marriages. The Proverbs 31 woman, that's why I'm so glad you mentioned it. She is our model because she was multidimensional.
Yes.
And if you really take the time to read the scripture and not just let them tell you about it, you will actually find out that she, reading her story, reading the whole scripture, really will empower you to be like, oh no, I can do all of this.
Yes.
Oh yes, wait a minute. Yes, I can. Yes, I actually have the ability to navigate through all of it seamlessly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. I want to shift directions just a little bit, because we've been talking about the woman being in the box, right? And the different persons that come out of the box whenever, it's needed. And so my question is, well, what does a free woman look like? What does a woman who is not in the box look like?
So the free woman, number one, has to realize that she matters. The whole foundation of being free is the whole realization that you have to wake up with yourself and realize you matter. Everybody else does matter, but you matter. You cannot successfully be a true asset to anybody, your business, family, or anything, until you realize how much of an asset you need to be to yourself.
Yes.
So the free woman has really tapped into her loving herself totally and showing up for herself daily. Not meaning that she only likes the perfect her. No, she loves the her even when she makes a mistake. So even when I miss the mark, I'm such a free woman that when I miss the mark, I learn how to give myself grace, not beat myself up. Give myself the grace to face where I went wrong, dust myself off, get up, and I'm going to try it again. The free woman realizes that she's not perfect.
Yes.
So the box can't keep her confined, because, see, the box makes you think that you have to be perfect to be out of the box. But when you realize that you're not perfect, but long as you strive for your best, The box can't hold you. So you can show up authentically for you every day. I don't care what that looks like for you. And for everybody, what we have to realize is showing up for your authentic self means something different for every woman.
Yes.
You can't measure. We as women have to stop measuring whether or not. So whether or not I'm going to look at you and say, oh, I'm not doing what she's doing, so I'm not good enough, or I'm not showing up as much. Because here's the difference. I may not be graced to do what you're doing.
Right.
I may be only graced to do what I am doing, but if I am so in tune with me, my mind is free, my heart is free, my emotions are free. I am really dealing with everything as it comes. I'm not suppressing anything. I'm facing the hurt when it happens. I'm learning how to communicate. I'm facing my own self in the mirror, dealing with stuff and not tucking it away and digging it, because that's where we've gotten so much in that box is we learned how to tuck stuff.
Yes. Ooh.
Push it to the side, tuck it away because I got to deal with this now. No, I'm going to stop right now, deal with this, because the other thing won't be there when I finish.
Right.
And when it's going to be there. And so that free woman realizes that I can take this moment, deal with this, and then I can resume.
Mm-hmm.
That's how free I am. It ain't going to stop just because I had to take 10 minutes, just because I had to move to the side. I am still going to be able to show up for me, and also not rely on somebody else to tell me when to show up. Even if I got to show up by myself. This is the thing. If I got to show up by myself, pat myself on the back, celebrate myself, write myself a card, donate to myself. If I have to do it all to myself, I am still that free that I can celebrate me, even if nobody ever says, Shavona, you're doing a good job.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now, it's an added bonus, yes. But I am so free and liberated in my authentic me that, hey, I am loving the journey that I am on, because every day I'm striving to be better. So I'm always loving the journey that I'm on, but I'm celebrating every step of the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm being coached by she's not a life coach, she's more of a business coach.
Okay.
But in our conversations, one of the things that she stresses is to, throughout different milestones, sit in it. She always says that. She's like, you know what? Take the rest of the night and just sit in what you've accomplished today, because in doing so, you don't want to miss or skip over the fact that you just did you had some major moves. Listen, writing a couple of emails sometimes, especially in business, is a big deal, especially when you first started.
Say it.
So sitting in the fact and celebrating the fact that you finished the emails and you pressed send. I love to see that little monkey on MailChimp waving me like we're off. I love to see that because it's rewarding. And I want to talk about one more other thing that you shared, just about the free woman, how understanding that you matter, that you're not perfect. To me, those are the things that helps us women get over the hump. See, a lot of us have ideas, dreams, goals, and we get stuck because we're like, oh, I can't do this and that. Oh, I got to show up for this person. Oh, I'm not good enough for that. I do really good hair, but how am I going to measure up to the next person? And by giving ourselves a little grace, a little space, to celebrate, like you said, to also understand that we are bringing something to the world that regardless of the fact that other people may be doing it too, nobody does it like you, right?
Nobody.
And
like
so, say it again.
I said, I'm me.
Right. And I think that it is, see, it's crazy because we don't, we are more, or we are less inclined to be our authentic self, but we don't realize that it is our authentic self that helps other women connect to us. And we literally, I believe it's a trick of the enemy, because we need each other. And we have, we battle. It starts in middle school. We start battling with other girls, and I don't like girls. Oh, I don't hang with girls. And that whole seed gets planted, and so you grow up not realizing that your authentic self is who that next person needs, and y'all need each other.
Yes.
You need each other. God rest his soul, DMX. Um, he just passed last week, and his friend, one of his friends, was on the news, and he was sharing how it was a group of friends. They never had a contract. They never had contracts, but DMX just kept them on his team the entire time. So he brought all his boys, all his friends up with him. They didn't need a contract. And I pray that we as women, we're getting a lot better. We definitely are, fixing each other's crowns, and we are coming together more. I still believe it's a little regional. There are some regions of this country that still a little tight.
That's so true.
But we are getting better at fixing our crowns, and what we're finding is that in doing so, we can create. I mean, our level of creativity is endless.
Mm-hmm.
It's endless. So, thank you for even just breaking down what the free woman looks like, and I believe too that this is why our connections matter. This is
Yes.
why having a network
Mm-hmm.
matters. You have a platform where you meet on a weekly basis. Can you share more about that, and how that's helped women to show up as their authentic selves?
Oh, absolutely. So every Tuesday at 1 p.m. on my She's More Now Facebook Live page, I have a lunchtime empowerment talk with Dr. Vaughn. And every week there is whatever topic drops on me that God begins to place in my spirit. That's what I share with the women. Because here's a dynamic that when you were talking about the women, that whole dynamic of that women can't do certain things together, we can't connect or whatever. My mindset that is now the time in the season for us to change our prescribed destiny. They prescribe that women can't.
Mm-hmm.
I prescribe that women can.
Right.
And so when I show up for them every Tuesday, I show up with them with the tools to break whatever it is you're up against. Today's topic was talking about learning how to be quiet, because sometimes we talk too much.
Come on.
Sometimes we respond to too much. Sometimes we engage in too much. And so when I do these lunchtime empowerment talks, it is to help give them the tools to not only break the box and help them to stretch and help them to grow, but also to keep them empowered, to keep them, with the strength to show up. Because here's the thing, when you're showing up for the first time, it's like a toddler walking.
Mm.
You've never done it. You've been in this box so long, you have to learn how to be outside of the box. So therefore every week I show up and we actually engage. I see their comments, we engage. It's not just me talking to them. We engage, we talk, and I make sure, and it's always normally about 30 minutes, because my dad always taught me you don't have to be long to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's normally about 30 minutes. We hit it, and I make sure that I ask God all the time, what do you think they need today?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think they need this week? And sometimes he'll give it to me the day before, sometimes he'll give me the day of. But it's just for us to be strengthened, to know. And then sometimes I get vulnerable and I share some of my journey and some of my process, because I want women to understand you're not alone. You're not the only one that fell off track. You're not the only one that felt like she was behind time.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the only one that didn't have biological kids and had to have bonus kids.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the only one that struggled with relationship issues. You're not the only one that struggled with insecurities. And I share those bits of information about my journey because it helps them to understand, if I can break the box and come through all of that and show up as my authentic self, just me, accept me for me, then you too can look in the mirror and say, you know what, I matter. I can show up for me. I can show up for me because, wait a minute, if she can do it, I can do it. And if she's helping me to give me the tools that she used, then I know I can do it too. And that's what we do every Tuesday. Because listen, I called it, we're building a tribe of transformers. We all can transform, because if I give you the tools to transform, then you can go when you're at your job, share it with somebody else, and they can transform. They can come out the box. Then they can share it with somebody else. We just want to keep it going. We just want to keep it going, keep it growing, keep it moving.
I love that. Is there a way to um, be a part of the community if you're not on Facebook?
So absolutely. So my YouTube channel is Dr. Shavona Whitehead, and that's where all of the She's More Now, every empowerment, lunchtime empowerment is actually live at the same time on both my YouTube channel and the She's More Now community page on Facebook. So even if you don't have social media, you can tune on 1 p.m. every Tuesday, and it'll be streaming live on YouTube the exact same time. Because we want to make sure there are some people that are not on social media. We want to make sure that we access everybody that needs it.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for showing up for
Yeah.
us. Thank you so, so much. How long, in your estimation, or in your how long in your estimation has it taken someone to start to realize that, hey, I do matter? Is it something that, could be done over a few sessions, or um, is it relative to, a particular conversation?
So to answer that, what I've come to realize is it depends on the person, because
Okay.
some people are so deep in the box that it takes months before they ever really believe what you say.
Hmm.
But then right now I have a break in the box cohort going on now that I'm teaching a set of women. And here's the ironic thing, and I've been telling her story because I'm so excited. I have a woman who has cerebral palsy who was avoiding getting on the elevator because it had mirrors.
Mm.
So she would walk the steps in pain.
Mm.
We've been in 3 sessions, and last night during our session, I'm gonna try not to cry. She says to me, Dr. Vaughn, guess what I did today? And I said, what? She said, I got on the elevator and I rode it all the way to the 8th floor and I looked at myself in the mirror.
Mm.
I said, you did what? She said, I rode it all the way. I cried, but I rode it all the way. And I stepped little by little until I got in front of the mirror. And I smiled with my tears in my eyes and said, you made it.
Wow.
And she said, I did it because you've been telling me for the last 2.5 weeks. Every session we meet twice a week. You've been telling me that I matter enough and I'm beautiful enough, even with my disability.
Yes.
That I started to believe it. So I got on the elevator today. Now she's been working at this job for years and has been avoiding the elevator.
Wow.
Because it got mirrors in it. Then I have somebody that I've been working with almost 6 months, and she's just turning the corner. But she had, it's all about whether or not, because when you're in that box, you got to have an ounce to want to get out for you to actually start turning the corner. If you never really want to get out and you're just going through the motions, there's no way for anybody to pull you out the box.
Right.
But when you really, even if you just got an ounce, if you got a little bit of I want to get out this box, somebody can help you out the box. It only takes a little crack for somebody to tear that crack open and get you out the box. But you got to want to get out the box.
I love that. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So what advice then would you give to someone who is desiring to live freer, live their more authentic life, but they're not sure how? And especially if, like we just said, they've operated that way for so long. Like maybe they never make it to a session on Tuesday, or they never hit the YouTube. What would you want them to know that they can do?
The first thing I want you to do is I want you to ask yourself, why are you in the box? Has to start with the question, because you have to actually face why you are in the box. I start everywhere with the question of why. Because if you know your why, you can face it and actually make a determination whether or not it's worth staying there. So you have to, I tell everybody, before anybody can help you, is you got to know your why. Why are you in this box? Why are you even in the box? Can you even tell me, have you ever taken time, what you say earlier, to sit with it and ask yourself, why am I in this box?
Mm-hmm.
When you can say, why am I in this box? And it could be such as, I was an only child growing up and this happened to me. But if you can tap into your why, you can face it and say, wait a minute, is that why I'm in this box? That was 15 years ago.
Right.
That's where this started. You can then face it and say, wait a minute, let me just knock this out because this don't make no sense. But most of the time, we never sit. That's why I like what you said earlier. That whole sit with it. I tell my people all the time, sit with it. They got a home assignment right now. Sit.
Hey, intentional people, I had to interrupt the show to tell you about a resource that I know we can all benefit from. As go-getters and goal-getters, sometimes we get stuck. We get hindered and we find ourselves needing help in one area or another. I know personally, I lived for many years hindered by the opinions of others, which led to many insecurities and setbacks. It took more than prayer to get me out of the funk that I was in. What helped so much was talking to a licensed therapist who helped me get to the root of my issues so that I could build myself back up to see myself as God sees me. I began seeing a therapist on a consistent basis and it changed my life. This is why I'm so excited to tell you about BetterHelp.com. It is a secure, online professional counseling service that is available for clients worldwide. Let me tell you about 4 things I absolutely love about this service. First, there is a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's counselor network that may not be locally available in many areas. You can log on to your account anytime and send a message to your counselor. You get timely and thoughtful responses, plus you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions so that you never have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room like with traditional therapy. BetterHelp.com is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed. Progress on Purpose podcast listeners get a special discount of 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/POP, which helps save more money off of this amazing service. Visit betterhelp.com/POP to start a conversation today. You never know. It may be the most important conversation of your life. That's betterhelp.com/POP. BetterHelp.com/POP. Let's get back to the show.
When you sit with yourself and say, why am I even in this box?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I even think that I can't? Who told me I couldn't? Where did it start? Because what you say is stuff bypasses you if you never sit with it. So to anyone who wants to be free that's listening to this podcast, I want you to sit with yourself first and ask, why am I even in the box?
Right.
Because sometimes we're in the box, and when we realize why we're in the box, it's literally a choice, one decision to pop out the box. It's so much like, now some people do have to dig deeper, but some of us, it's literally a decision. You've been in this box that long because of that?
Right.
Wait a minute. And once you actually like, oh no, I can deal with this. I can deal with this and I can come out this box and I can live the fullness of who I am, free, love myself and show up for myself every single day. Because here's the thing, once you realize your why, you will become so committed to show up for you every day because you'll be in tune with you.
Yes.
Because when you sit with your why, you learn a lot about you.
Yes.
You learn a lot about you. Even the stuff you never wanted to face. When you sit with your why, you will learn a lot about you. And so that's the first step that I would challenge anybody. And listen, be prepared for your why to answer you back. When you sit with your why, be prepared for whatever is exposed at that moment of why you were in that box. But then also be committed to deal with the why once it shows up. Once it's exposed and it's revealed of your why, now be prepared to deal with the why and move on. When you can deal with it, you won't have any problem being free Listen, you'll never be perfect, but you'll be free. You'll
Yes.
never be perfect. You'll never be spotless. You will fall, but let me tell you, when you're free, you have such a measure of grace to look at your failures not as defeats, but as fueling moments for you to do better.
Yes.
They become fueling moments for you to do better. Oppositions are not actually becoming the things that come to deter you or defeat you. They become opportunities for something new to happen.
Yes.
So it's about changing your lens. When you get your why out of the way and you deal with it, your freedom comes in. You're changing of the lens of how you look at things.
Yes.
You apply things. So no, my life isn't perfect, but it's free.
Yes.
It's not void of problems and struggles, but it's free. It's not void of pitfalls and hurdles, but I am so free that when I see a pitfall, I'm like, all right, how can I use it?
Yes.
When I fall, I'm like, okay, what did I need to learn right here? What I need to do better? And keep you a journal, because sometimes you need to refer back to it, write down where you fell at, and sometimes you need to refer back to, well, how I get out of this? Let me use it for this one.
Yes.
It's you're free. Listen, freedom doesn't mean perfection, everyone.
Right.
Freedom, that's where we get it mixed. Like if somebody say they free, they don't have no problems. That's not it. Free is a state of mind.
Yes.
It's a state of mind. And so once you face that why, you deal with that why, then you can be free to look at every single solitary thing differently.
Yes. I have to say it again.
So even if I don't have something, I ain't mad.
I know that's right. I have to share, because I mean, I'm sitting over here like I'm giving an emphatic yes, because I lived through that. I had a season of time where I was told that my ideas were stupid, and that that hindered my creativity for so long. And it got to a point where I didn't even trust myself enough to, create. I had to kind of, and thank God, I in retrospect, I'm thinking back, but I didn't even know I was doing this. But even sometimes taking a little small step, making something, oh, what, you like this? This is nice. Really? You like? Okay, all right, I'll do it again. So like having little small wins. And for me, it was like one day I looked around and I realized, wait a minute, if I was told that my ideas are stupid, but they like it and they like it and they like it, those are all wins. And then I look around and I say, oh, I created that, and I created that, and I created that, and all of that. And I was like, wait a minute, my ideas are not stupid. That was just, like you just said, to keep me down, to keep me in a box. And what I began to do was celebrate the things that I could see, right? And it helped me to have the confidence to move into the next phase, to get over that hump. So yeah, and then like you just shared, it transfers from one area of your life to another. So I started with my hands, and then I moved on to my marriage, and then I moved on to my relationship, creating a good relationship with my kid, creating a great relationship with my mother. It became I was like, okay, if I can create in this area, I can create in that area too.
Yes.
And so I'm so glad that you said all that you shared about how we can step out of that box.
Yeah.
I totally appreciate it. And you gave great advice. I really, 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 really appreciate that. Um, so how does Dr. Shavona find time for herself amidst all of the different ways that you show up for everyone else?
And so for me, self-care is a must. Self-care is a must. And so listen up, y'all hear me clearly. I date myself every week.
I love that.
I date myself every week. I'm very intentional. And sometimes that particular self-care time is not on the same day. However, on my calendar, I don't care what's going on. I have what I schedule on there. I say it's a me date.
Mm-hmm.
I call it hey girl. That's what I call it hey girl. And my husband said, hey girl, this hey girl time. I tell my kids it's hey girl time. And so during that time, I like, as I told you before, I have a strong no during that time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't allow anybody to invade my me time, because here's the dynamic. If you do not give yourself that me time to digress,
mm-hmm.
refuel, relax, rejuvenate, you will burn out, and then you will have no other choice but to go back into the box, because you'll be so exhausted that you don't want to do anything anymore.
Right.
But the way you keep refueling, the way you keep going through it, every week, like I said, this week is Saturday. Last week it was Wednesday. I'm very intentional about some time. And I don't mean 30 minutes. I mean, I take 3 to 4 hours. Don't call me. My phone is on do not disturb. I am literally sitting and actually spending time with me. Even if I sit out on the porch, I'm not cooking dinner. It's an eat out day. Every man for himself.
Right.
When you come outside, go back inside. This is my spot. This is hey girl moment. You got to go back inside. I sit out on the deck. I enjoy now that the weather is changing. But I am very intentional about Shavona, because I neglected Shavona for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
I neglected Shavona for so many years, being everything for everybody. And then I was exhausted. I was burnt out. I was lacking. But now that I spend time for Shavona, I can tell you every day I matter, because I tell myself when I'm sitting out there, oh, you matter. We chilling today. What we doing? We taking a ride. We gonna open up the sunroof. Now that's what we gonna take a ride. Right. We gonna take a ride. We gonna go get a snowball. Whatever it is. But I dedicate that time to me, because how in the world can I look myself in the mirror and say I've dedicated time to She's More? I've dedicated time to my husband. I've dedicated time to my children. I've dedicated time to the people of God preaching. I've dedicated time to my job. When I go and I show up at my job, I dedicated time to my business. But then what did I do for me? Right. So how am I empowering all these people? But I ain't never take the time to empower me.
Right.
And so every week I show up for me every single week. And since I started that, everything runs seamless. The whole schedule runs fluid. I mean, it runs seamless. Nothing goes out of whack. Nothing goes missing, because I interject and I change it accordingly. But every week I have that time. It's on my calendar. Every week I plug it in at the beginning of it. All right, highlight that one. Can't do nothing that time.
I love it.
Stick to it. Now, like I said, I may have to move it because of some things, but there's not a week that I don't go without having that time. It's a must. It's a must.
Mm. How long have you been doing that? I'm just curious.
And so I've been doing it now almost 2 years.
Lovely.
I've been doing it now almost 2 years. And so now it's just seamless. At first, it was awkward trying to adapt to it, because I had not done it at all. And so you can imagine, like, saying I'm taking myself to dinner. I done went to Applebee's and sat down table of one, and I'm like, okay, phone ringing. I'm at the table like, what y'all need? Whatever. And one day, literally, God was like, well, that was unsuccessful. And that's how clearly he told me. You sat at the table, you might as well should have stayed home. Mm. And that's how clear it is. And I was like, but I took myself out. He said, but at the table, you answered emails, you answered the phone calls, so you might as well should have stayed, ordered out and took it home. Mm. And I had to say, oh, so you mean when I go out, like, I got to go out like nothing? And I had to gradually start realizing, okay, let me stop. No emails, but I was answering the phone. Then I got to the point where I wasn't answering the phone or the emails. And so it was a gradual. You have to give yourself the grace to get used to it. But once you get used to it, ain't no turning around. It's no turning around. And the thing about it is when you actually get used to it, and those that love you and that are around you see how more vibrant you are, they see how more strong you are, how more happy you are. They love on that moment and they respect that moment. It doesn't hinder anything.
Right.
It hinders nothing in my family. Like, it doesn't hinder my marriage, doesn't hinder my children. It doesn't hinder anything because everybody now, oh, she even more happier now. Like, she got some time. Girl, go and get your hey girl time.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a whole word. Oh my goodness. I mean, that was a whole meal. And thank you for even just, yeah, we needed that. I know I did. And I'm going to implement.
Please, especially you're growing and growing and the business is growing and growing. This is the best time to do it. Mm-hmm. Implement it now so that when it gets larger, it's already in there. It's already a set in. You ain't got to implement. Trust me, it strengthens you, help you sleep, less stress. You just rest in it.
I love it. Dr. Vaughn, how can we connect with you? Where can we find you? Give us all the social media, all the details, how we can find out about your program, all that good stuff so we can stay connected.
Sure, absolutely. So my social media handles, my name, Shavona Whitehead on Facebook. She's More Now on Facebook is the platform for She's More Now. On Instagram, it is I am Dr. Vaughn. On Instagram, it is I am Dr. Vaughn. On YouTube, it is Dr. Shavona Whitehead. And then, of course, I have a website, which is www.shavonawhitehead.com, where you can find the program. You can sign up for the program. You can sign up for life coaching sessions. You can sign up for all of that. And then if, in fact, you have questions or you want to email me, my email address is info@shavonawhitehead.com. And again, that's info@shavonawhitehead.com. And listen, I do have a business as well. And so my business is Facebook and Instagram is House of Treasures. That's HOUZE of Treasures, TREAZURES. And so there's House of Treasures on both Facebook and Instagram.
Yes, please, please, please check out the store. I mean, check it all out, but definitely get you a couple of statement tees. I have one that says "Believe in Yourself," and I wear it all the time. I love it, and it's a reminder every time I look in the mirror to believe in myself. And you know what? We're wrapping up, but I do want to say, guys, it is so important to put things around you to encourage you. So what you'll find at the House of Treasures, yes, there are some bomb earrings and different statement pieces, but she has a whole collection of statement tees that are motivating. And so if for no other reason, you put it on for yourself as a reminder of who you are. So definitely check it out. I will be sure to link all of the information in the show notes so that you guys don't have to look far to find the information. But Dr. Vaughn, I want to tell you thank you so much for being a part of the Pop family today. You have rejuvenated so many of us. I know, I mean, I'll be the first one to say it. Just that little bit on self-care, that for me, that was my nugget. And I'm sure for someone else, they've learned the tools on how to start to open that box up and jump on out.
Yeah.
So thank you.
My pleasure. It's definitely my pleasure, my honor just to be here with the Pop family and just to share with you today. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Of course, my pleasure. So that's it, guys. I love you all. I will see you on the next episode. Remember, we are in season 4. She's intentional. Make sure you tune in to the next episode. Take care, guys.